All right, so uh, let me make sure this is playing. Okay. All right. So, quick update on Bitcoin. And so we got long down here. Um, I still have my Bitcoin and Solana longs. I've trimmed a significant amount. We talked about most recently how important, this, and it's easier to see on the low time frame chart, but essentially I want to see this 65.7 hold. If that happens, if this 65.7 holds, then I think we're gonna make at least a new local high. I don't think that 64K will hold the next time it comes down. So if we go below 65.7, I will likely take a hedge short, probably on alts, probably on something like ETH, maybe some of the weaker alts. But ultimately, for me, if I'm looking at it from a market structure perspective, we moved up, we tested 63. This move down right here is a little deeper than I would have liked, to be perfectly honest. That's a pretty big retrace down, which was cause for concern for sure. But ultimately, we can see that it got bought up quick. There's aggression. There's a lot of reasons why price moves up and down, but ultimately what we want to see for continuation is buyers stepping in at key levels, and that level should move up with the trend. Had this gone any lower, we would have had a lower low on a high time frame. So now what I'm looking at moving forward is the 65.7 area to hold, and then I want to see price make a higher high. Now, if we go to the chart that I posted, I said this is the next target right here, right? So we want to get into that green circle, and I posted that a while ago. So at this point for Bitcoin, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for that higher high, and I'm waiting to see how it reacts at this level up here, the 69 to 70K, really 69 to 71K level. And other than that, nothing's really changed. I wish that this bounce off 64 would have happened faster. But essentially, what you have here is you've got sellers failed to break this down, and so all those shorts get squeezed out, and now what you're seeing is shorts reloading and price isn't moving down. So to me, I feel pretty comfortable in saying it is certainly possible that you're getting a significant enough sell pressure that if buyers fail, that we will break down. But to me, I think this is just consolidating, maybe a little dip at some point today, and I'm expecting 69K to get reached within the next few days. So that's my take on Bitcoin. It's really not. Nothing has changed. I did get a little bit weary, but everything's going as planned, so no need to change anything. If we lose that level, I'll hedge. If we get to this level and reject, I'll probably open up at least a hedge short and then add to it if we continue dropping. And if we reclaim it, I'll get long. Easy peasy. See, now I have to go back to my futures. Share screen. Share. That work? Yeah. All right. So market's getting ready to open. Let me see. A lot going on. I have way too much stuff going on. I normally like to kind of like get locked in for open, and I don't share the open trades because things happen fast, and even now I think the stream is delayed by a minute, so you have to be kind of careful. There we go. Open. This looks not great. I'm not longing here. Oh, I should have shorted. That's down 7 points. So sometimes staying out is a win. I'm gonna let the dust settle a little bit. For some reason, the overnight positioning causes that initial move, and I could see that ES traders were buying, but price wasn't moving up. So a little flush down is expected, but it's hard to say how far that goes. Waiting on some of the options data to come through to see where we're at. I do not like this for upside. So two things. Right, this is the area of interest to get to bid, maybe a little bit lower. We got to get above that, 54.80s level. Pretty much the overnight high was 54.92. So, somewhere in that 54.84 to 92 area, we break above that. I want to be long, but I'm not seeing the buy pressure on this at the moment. You can see everything's closing me out. I realize I'm just talking to myself, so bear with me if you're watching this later. I don't see the buy strength. I've got 541.5 on SPY as dealer positionings. So I think if we don't bounce right here, things get bad, but I could see it change very, very fast to bullish if that low that we just hit sticks. It's risky. I think everybody's still kind of sidelined. I don't think that the market's made a decision here. Futures ES traders think it's going to go up. That is for damn sure, and they're going to get smoked if it doesn't. Even the options flow just seems really all over the place right now. It has not settled at all. I just don't like this long setup. I'm not going to jump on board with a bunch of other traders on a essentially momentum move. It does seem like they're buying and they could push this up, but that could change so fast that it doesn't make sense. I'd rather be in a situation in which the ES sellers are selling and failing. Right now they're buying and failing, and I would generally go short on that, but I'm not going to short the level that I want to bid, right? So if we break below this, then I'm on a short because the support level failed. But I'm not going to short at support. I'm going to wait for it to break. I'm not going to long support in this situation because I don't have the setup that I like to get into a long. I'm seeing bearish divergence, and so my system is telling me this has a significant likelihood to break down. And so I short loss of support, or I short fail to break resistance. I don't short just above support because the positioning is off. I'm going to wait for that level to break. And in the meantime, it could change, like this bearish divergence that I'm seeing. And just to be clear, like, see, this cumulative delta is positive and the price is negative. And what this is telling me is that ES traders are aggressively buying, but they're failing to move price up. Now, it's open, so you have to take that into context. And at the end of the day, if I see the options flow get bullish, I would just say, okay, like hop aboard. But I don't like to blindly bid support, and I'm not going to bid support just because it hit support. And you can see, like, it hit this volume value area low to the tick, and so it was certainly a valid spot to get long. I just didn't have the setup that I liked. And even now it's just kind of struggling. So not going to take it. I'm going to wait for it to break up here. And if we accept above, I'll hop in a long. If we accept below, I'll hop in a short. It's certainly possible that I have this wrong and we have a mean reversion day and we just chop. But I'll have to make that determination later, because I think that the pause is more because the market's hesitating, as opposed to, so when the market's in balance, buyers and sellers are okay with the price. Buyers and sellers can be okay with the price because the price is at a appropriate level, and it takes a change in sentiment to move away from that level, or the price can stay there because the market's hesitating and hasn't really gotten into things. I think there's enough back and forth in the data for me to say that I'm just not sure. So level hit, I didn't take it. Price moves up. It happens, but it just wasn't a clean setup. If I was trading my normal account, I probably would have taken a couple of MES contracts. But if I lose, if I lose $200 on that account, that's okay. Like, it's not going to make or break anything. But on a smaller account challenge, you can't take even a one MES contract and kind of build into it, because all of a sudden a $50 loss is a somewhat significant percentage. So you got to take your shots when you get them. I'm gonna wait. NQ still showing some weakness. Still having a look at the chart. Oh wow! So these divergences are. If I decided right now that I got this wrong, then the NQ long would be the way to go, because these two charts can only diverge so much. You're not going to have NQ just completely go one way and ES go completely the other way. But if ES's move up fails, then you certainly don't want to be long NQ, because it's showing relative weakness, not just on the chart, but on the options flow. The only reason I looked at the futures chart is because I saw a divergence in the options flow. So at this point, if you felt strongly that price is going to move up, an NQ long would make a lot of sense, because it's going to catch up if ES breaks up. But again, I think at this point we're so close to value area high too that it just makes sense to just wait. All right, so what am I looking for here? I'm looking for acceptance above this pink line with buyers following through. If it just takes out stops and reverses, I'm going to take a quick profit and be cautious. Move below, I'm looking kind of for the same thing. If it moves below this value area low, run stops, there's no follow throughs and buyers buy the dip, I want to get long on this reclaim. If it moves down and the selling persists, then I just jump on the short. I'm also a lot more cautious on Fridays. If you trade a lot and you spend any amount of time really logging your trades, then you start to learn some strengths and some weaknesses. For me, Friday afternoons are a weakness. It's hands down. If I didn't trade Fridays, my accounts would be higher, and specifically Friday afternoons. And now, for me, I want to always try to work on those weaknesses and understand why that's happening. And so my Friday mornings have gotten better. Friday afternoons have not. And so, sometimes, honestly, by Friday afternoon, I'm pretty much ready to be done. Anyway, so I'm not that concerned with it, but just trading smaller. If you log your trades and you find a weak point, you could either just not trade that at all and ignore it, or you can figure out how to get better at it. And the way to get better at it is, paper trading doesn't work for me. I've got to have skin in the game, and so just sizing down. You size down and you take your shots and you adjust. You don't keep doing the exact same thing. So I'm conscious of Friday, of options expirations, of positioning of traders that may not want to go into a weekend or hold their positions, and how that impacts the market. But at the end of the day, not a huge issue anymore in terms of Fridays. But didn't chase Q now, value area low. You can see the selling. There's aggressive selling on NQ, and that's just, you can trade that if you're getting a bounce. Otherwise, you want to just hop on the train. Again, coming back down to support, not seeing anything significant to lead me to believe that this has the strength to just rocket up. So, unfortunately, just waiting. what I have on the chart here, this is a volume profile, VWAP, cumulative volume delta. I've got the delta. I've got 2 time frames. Sometimes I change this to a 1 hour. Sometimes I change this to a 5-minute chart just to kind of get a better glimpse of things. Man, Google's getting smoked. What's Apple doing? Not smoked, but it certainly doesn't look great. Microsoft trying to bounce, but still not great. Nvidia looks better for a bounce, but at least Nvidia is above VWAP. Little pick me up on options there. Still slight. Now you're seeing a very, very, very slight bullish divergence there. Not enough to be significant, in my opinion, but enough to make me not short here. I think the question is, does tech bounce? I'm going to take an MNQ. Mildly impulsive. I wish I'd entered lower. Is that 196 contract order tricked me? It's normally when I want to trade NQ, I'm watching the NQ flow. I don't just like move over and hop on. See, now you're getting a bearish divergence on ES, so that's going to get smoked. One of the reasons I stopped streaming was because I felt like I forced trades when I'm streaming. That's probably example number 1. I'm not going to cut it without this level getting lost, because that's the invalidation. And the reality is that the risk is more than I normally want to take. But at the end of the day, if I cut here, it could just as well still do what I thought it was going to do. So I try to let the trades play out, because I don't want to take the loss and then have it end up going the way that I want it to go. Oh no. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that people kind of misunderstand is like the idea of death by 1,000 cuts. You you have to let the trades play out. Otherwise, you end up just getting chopped up, and you never take a big loss, but you also over time just get crushed. And then it takes, you know, 5 small losses, and all of a sudden you eviscerated one good solid win. Well, you know, at some point it adds up, and you're paying the fees and on those trades. And so obviously the better entry would have been down here, but the problem I have is that the trade's not invalidated, and at the end of the day, maybe I end up having to cut this because my risk for the account is too much. But the trade isn't invalidated, and I've found, at least for my system, sticking to the invalidation is a lot more long term, pays off. And what I'm seeing is I think ES is going to move higher. And obviously the easy trade would have been to just go buy the ES dip if that's what I thought. But sometimes when you end up with these situations where you get a large buyer and there's a divergence, the R&R on the weaker NQ just makes a lot more sense. And so because I haven't invalidated this theory, I can't invalidate the other one, which puts me in a bit of a hard spot. But I think NQ traders got this wrong. I think there's enough strength in ES to where I don't think it nukes. If anything, it goes up. And once NQ figures that if I'm right and this breaks up, then this is going to squeeze higher, and so the move up will be more significant, in my opinion. So much of it is just waiting. So I'm still seeing, if you, all right. See, this part works, but if you just look at these two, that's bullish divergence on ES. But the reality is that if this doesn't play out, then it's going to flush down, and I do not want to be in this long. So the safe bet here is to just close and then re-enter if it breaks up. I just don't feel like it. The other issue is the NQ wicks. Like, I don't want to just set a stop and then go trade ES, which is what I want to do. I want to just set a stop on this and be ready to add ES if it breaks up. But I don't want to get wicked out before the move. I put Bitcoin is ripping. So Solana, yes. Looking good. Bitcoin's about to reclaim 68. Solana's at 183. Goodness gracious. See this right here, this bullish divergence is growing. That makes me feel better. The other thing is this psychologically, if I take $130 loss, you're looking at 10% draw on the account, which is ridiculous. And then I see it move back up to my entry, it makes me really upset. And then I make bad choices moving forward in the whole rest of the day. So at some point, even though this was a terrible, terrible entry, and generally pride myself on maybe my ideas aren't always right, but I get really good entries, and therefore I manage risk well because my entries are so close to the invalidation point. This was a lot further away from the invalidation point than I would like, and if the reality is that there's some amount of instinct involved in this stuff, and so had I been trading my normal account, I would have averaged down. I would have added. I'd have five contracts, and I'd be green and maybe trimming. Oh, what in the world was that? What just happened? Is there a 10 a.m. data release that I missed? No, I don't think so. Oh, consumer sentiment. All right, cool. So we're green. We are green. Bye. If you aren't willing to take a trade and stick to it, you probably shouldn't take the trade at all. All right, I cut MNQ. It's slightly green. Too much stuff. I need to focus on the more straightforward trade. But, made 20 bucks. It is what it is. It's not, considering I was down like 140, I'm okay with that. It just kind of is what it is, right? You can't, I still missed, I missed the MES trade too. Ugh. So close. Just needs to push. I think the streaming is slowing down my data too. Like the streaming is slowing down my trading program. I need to probably look at streaming on another computer because this is not what I'm used to. So the question now is, do we continue up? 543 SPY was key level yesterday. I don't think it's as important today, just based on the dealer positioning. So I don't really see, if we move up here, I don't really see a whole lot of resistance. I think we move, we get a 20 to 30%, 20 to 30 point move easy. All right. Unfortunately, I do have to get off the stream and do some real world stuff. So can't just watch this. So what I'm looking for is push up here. I want to add to my long. It gives me a little bit of a buffer because I got in a little bit early. If we come down, I want to see a reaction. I do not want to see it except back under 54.87. If that happens, I'll cut, reassess. But for now, I think this has a chance to go. So let's see. Man, NQ got smoked on that little dip. That is why you cut. I'd be really upset and really red right now. I'd be down like 80 instead of a $20 win. That's a $100 swing. Significant. Yeah, it's failing. Giving it a little bit longer because it doesn't feel significant. It feels like this could start ripping again pretty easily. Just not seeing the large selling going with it, so So, sometimes I'm really good about checking the data, and other times I'm not. So, consumer sentiment came in at expectations. It shouldn't really have that big of an impact. And again, instinctually buying something that may or may not work, but I want a little bit more upside exposure. I think that drop was bullshit, but buyers still need to step in and push this up. And like in a grand scheme of things, this is not the place to be buying because we've clearly just rejected. That's some big selling. Bigger selling. And significant bearish divergence. Now forming. See, this is the like chop you really don't want to get stuck in. Buy flow now weakening a little bit more. They need to move this up, or I do not want to. I don't want to be in it if it doesn't bounce here. Ooh, gold is up 1%. Zero Hedge just posted. Depressed Democrats drag University of Michigan consumer sentiment survey to an 8-month low. Oh, that's fun. Again, I think had I been trading my normal account, I probably would have added to both of these positions. I'd be trimming them right now and averaging down on dips, and then adding on breakup, not being stuck with one contract each. So again, bad entry, or at least less than ideal. And so I'm gonna cut because I can't take the risk, even though I think it goes higher. If the market does move up, I've executed this very, very poorly. You can have poor execution if you get direction right. You can have bad execution if you get direction. You can have bad execution if you get direction right. And you can have bad execution, good execution, and get direction wrong. You can, if you execute well, you can get direction wrong and still be profitable. So getting, it's better to just have good execution. So yeah, do better than me in this particular situation. But again, you have to adapt. Like for me, I would have traded more contracts. I would have averaged down. I would have trimmed on the move ups, added on the move down. I would have traded, even if I was holding, 4 times as many contracts. I would have traded 20 to 30 contracts in that period to be able to position my average entry down significantly, and I would have already been more green, and that makes the process a lot easier. All right, so I'm gonna log out. I gotta go get some stuff done. I'm gonna hold this small MES position in case of a move up, and if it moves down and takes me out, then so be it. Probably need to. I'd like to be in at under 54.80 to be honest, but it is what it is. Maybe I just cut this and reset when I get back. It's just such a small position. I'm like inclined to just let it go. All right, so I'm gonna hold it 5 and just see what it's at when I come back. For now, I think the plan is pretty straightforward. We need to clear this level for a move up, 20 to 30 points. If we lose this level and we accept below, I think we could easily move at least that much, if not more, down. So obviously the easy trade would have been trading the chop, but for now, missed that chance. So gonna just ride this and flip short if we go down. Try to add on the way up, but I won't be at the desk, so we'll just have to see what I can manage. I'll try to do some more streams, especially if people actually show up, and we'll post daily updates on the 1K to 10K challenge account after close. All right, have a good one.